Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get started. We are here to talk about Cosential automation today. Thank you so much for joining us. And my name is Courtney Kearney. I'm founder and owner of C. Kearney Consulting. We are a CRM consulting firm for the AEC industry. We are here for any of your CRM needs. We also do business development planning. So if you are in need of that, especially as you put together your strategic planning for 2021, whatever the year may look like next year. But I, for one, am ready to put 2020 in the books and move on to 2021. So as you start doing your planning, if you want to allow some room in your budget for CRM consulting or for business development consulting, please consider us. So today we're going to be talking about automation best practices, how to automate your repetitive task. If anybody, I've advanced my slides, so if you want to drop into the chat, if it's not advancing at any point, let me know. We're going to be talking about cause and effect actions and how to automate those, data integrity and how to protect it. We're going to be looking at how to convert your Cosential logs into the coveted calendar invites. I've worked with another individual and have figured it out, so I want to share that with you. It's super exciting. And then how to then display the calendar that has those invites on it on your Cosential dashboard. So without further ado, let's jump in and get started. We're going to be talking about replacing manual repetitive tasks. So as you think about your workday, what are things that you do regularly when it comes to your Cosential data to maintain it? When you're looking at your contacts, are you monitoring those that are missing emails? If your marketing department does email campaigns and sends out quarterly cost reports or a monthly newsletter, you want to make sure that every contact has an email address or those people are not being reached. If you're getting ready for your holiday cards, which I know most of us are, then you're going to want addresses, or these days personal addresses, or asking someone, where can we send this that would reach you best? So looking at that information, are you monitoring it on a regular basis? Do you have an automation to trigger when a contact doesn't have an email address, when a contact doesn't have an address, or a company record doesn't have an address? Through workflows, you can set up those notifications so that whomever created the record can be notified, or if you are lucky enough to have a database manager, they can be notified so that they can clean that information up or obtain the information to update the records. Now, anybody who's heard me present before knows that I am not a fan of orphans running around my database. I am a firm believer that every contact should have an owner. Every contact record in your CRM should be owned by someone internally. This is for a lot of reasons, one of which is that you never want someone to walk out the door and take all of your clients with them. So this helps protect your business intelligence, so that if you have all of your contacts, when I know that Amy leaves the company, I can run a report for all of Amy's contacts and say, okay, who's going to take these? Who is going to introduce themselves to Amy's contacts and say, hi, my name is Courtney. Unfortunately, Amy's left and I'm going to be taking over the relationship from here. How about we jump on a virtual Zoom, FaceTime, what have you, hopefully one day coffee, so that we can get to know one another. That way, the relationship is kept with your firm, or at least the chance to keep it with your firm, and that transition can take place. Assigning orphans also allows if there is a new person that is just going to take Amy's role, or if you're going to divide it up. When I used to run a database, I would run a report and say, Amy's left, send it to the manager and say, who should get these? If there was a replacement, that was an easy one-to-one. If not, then we divided them. But never did I have a contact that was orphaned and alone in my system. It always had an owner. So you can set up workflows to identify, oh, someone is in my system that's been created as a contact. Now, if they don't have an owner, the best place to start is whomever created the contact. You can start there and say, who should own this? Sometimes we have people doing administrative tasks and creating contacts on behalf of someone else, and they can say, I don't own the relationship, so-and-so does. If that person got entered because you're submitting a proposal to an entity for the first time and no one has a relationship, you can categorize those and say secondary relationship, administrative relationship, whatever you want to. Definitely take the time to categorize those relationships outside of just primary. Now on your project side, this is where the marketing ears perk up. You want to be able to identify before you're on a deadline where you have incomplete information. So setting up your workflows to trigger reminders or to trigger notifications to the staff team and say, hey, we don't have a square footage for this project. We don't have a description. We don't have the published cost. We just have the actual cost. Can you approve that? Looking at the opportunity side, I was just on a call yesterday about a client saying, well, how do we get people to not put in ones? You can definitely set workflows that say if the value of an opportunity is below a certain threshold, $10,000, $10 million, whatever that is for your firm, then send the email that says, try again. Now, some of the pushback that I get is, Courtney, it's so early on, I don't know the value. You know a ballpark. You know if it's 10,000 or 10 million. But if you put $1, it skews all the information. All your widgets are now falsified. All of the things that your leadership is making data-driven decisions on is now inaccurate. So take your best guess. Now, if you have abandoned the lead module within Cosential and you are just using opportunities and you have a stage for 0, long lead or 0, prospects, you can have a workflow that says any opportunity that comes out of that stage into another stage, send an email and say, is this the accurate dollars or does it need to be updated? Was this your best guess and should it be updated? Looking at your call log notifications, you absolutely can set automatic notifications. I, for one, always forget to put notify down at the bottom and type my name so that I get the email. You can automate that. So if the call log type says follow up on voicemail or left voicemail, you can have a workflow that reminds you, you left a voicemail, you need to follow up in a week. All these are examples of workflows. Now, this is a free webinar, so it is informative. I'm going to give you a ton of examples and ideas, but I'm not going to tell you how. So if you would like to know how to do that, feel free to reach out to us. You're going to be getting a survey after this so that you can reach out to us and set up a call. And hopefully if there's enough interest in that survey, we ask what topics you would like to see in the future. If there's enough people interested in how to create those, then I'm happy to put together a webinar that has a cost associated to it if there's a need. So one of the things that is a bedrock, and I love Julie Schaefer, if you are in need of proposal help, she is your girl. She printed me a t-shirt that says that which has been typed should never be typed again. And I'm a huge advocate of that. So think about that when you're going through your workday, whether it's putting in opportunities, pursuits, whether it's putting in marketing information, whether it's leadership creating the same report all the time, looking at bonding capacity, whatever that is, that which has been typed should never be typed again. When we enter a contact into Cosential, it goes to our email campaign system. It goes to SurveyMonkey. It goes to the other places. I should never have to export, import, type again, give this piece of paper to this person to go put the business card in 12 different places. No. So think about how you can shore up some of that and really hone in on your processes for data entry. Now, the next piece when it comes to automation is cause and effect. So we're really going to be looking at triggers. So when you think about creating a workflow, for those that have administrative access to Cosential, you will first be asked, what is the resource? What is the area of information in Cosential? The second question is, what's your trigger? So the triggers that we're going to be looking at today: create, update, date triggers, convert, populate, missing data, and set action. And for those that are not used to my fast talking, I have several more slides to get through. So if I talk too fast or if I need to repeat, feel free to drop it in the chat or shoot me an email afterwards, hit me up on social media, and I'll be happy to repeat and clarify. First, we're going to talk about create. So thinking about what needs to happen when you go through your process. When a new opportunity is entered, should an email be sent? This is key if you have multiple offices or multiple markets or any sort of silos in your company. I was hired by a firm because they had the horrible situation where 2 offices submitted the individual proposals to the same client because geography wise, they did not know what the other office was doing. The CEO got a phone call that said, so do we get to pick the lowest bidder amongst yourself? How does that work? You never want that to happen. So I created a ton of workflows that were geographically driven for them. So anybody in this area, all the offices surrounding it were notified so that that would not happen again. Looking at when new opportunities are created, should the company type of that client record be changed to prospect? So that at any given time, you can run a report of your company records that says, show me all of our prospects that we are chasing. Looking at your new companies, this one is in our account because I am notorious for forgetting this. So we created workflows to help cover my butt. When I create a company, I don't have to think about the region because we have workflows that whatever the state is, the region is selected. So when I used to travel to do speaking engagements, anytime I was in that area, we would let the surrounding clients know, hey, do you want me to come in and do a specific training for y'all? I could only do that if it was region-based instead of going through and selecting every state or every city. That was a little too nuanced for us. So this way we have workflows. If Texas is selected, the Southwest region is selected. Now looking at call logs, you can absolutely trigger an email when that goes. I know I talked about that earlier, but you can have it be nuanced in so much as if you have off Outlook 365, you can create Outlook calendar invites. We're going to look at that at the very end, but that is groundbreaking and I cannot tell you how excited I am about that. When you're looking at new projects, should there be specific emails that are triggered if a specific component or feature, or if a new project gets created without a description or scope? What are those emails that you can trigger to notify people of missing information? The updates. If an opportunity is updated, should the entire staff know that is associated to that opportunity? If the dollars get changed, if the due date gets changed, should the staff team be notified? If a company is updated, if the company record changes offices or changes a name, now they're known by this. I don't know if you saw, but Uninet acquired Cosential. In our system, we updated the Cosential record to say that now they are acquired by Uninet. So that is something that everybody associated with that client record or company record should be notified of. When a company record is updated, if somebody changes an email address, everybody associated to that contact should know so that they can update their own Outlook if you're not using the Cosential for Outlook piece. If you're using the go, no-go form and you have a score higher than a certain number or certain rating, then you can send an email to a review team and say, this is a go, give your final approval. Looking at stages. When the stage is submitted proposal, should we interview someone, should we let the staff know? If the stage is interviewed, set interview to yes, that interview question mark field. Looking at your closed one, that should be a trigger for other notifications or other things. Send it to accounting, send it to IT, send it to the entire company if you want for a win announcement to help with morale, especially right now. Looking at your closed lost, sending a reminder to schedule that debrief for best practices. Your date triggers, looking at reminder emails. If a proposal is due in X amount of days, send a reminder. If it's past due and still in its current stage, send a reminder. You've either missed that opportunity or the due date has changed and the record needs to be updated. The project completion date. When the project is completed, should the company type change to inactive or former client because you're not an active client? Should a project date When it's nearing completion, 50% complete, marketing, do this. 75% complete, schedule your project completion photography. At completion, hey, project manager, review this information and give your final approval. Last modified X amount of days ago. If a opportunity sits dormant for more than 120 days, notify. Whatever that number is for your firm. Keeping your data up to date is vital to make Cosential valuable for you. Another one is looking at your personnel registration and certification for expiration date, reminding people that that is coming up, that you are in need of updating that information. The convert, this is a big one. Cosential has now given us the ability for workflows to trigger when an opportunity is converted to a project. Game changer. So on principle, if an opportunity has changed to a project, we've won it. Therefore, that company is now a client. So you can change their company type to active client automatically. An opportunity is converted. Again, should anybody else be notified? You can now push values to the project record. You are no longer stuck with the given 15 records that we've had for over a decade. Now you can push certain dollar fields, push over your firm org, different categories, different types. Take a look at that list and they are adding to that value list. Add to or clear variables from your opportunity record. So if you wanted to, you could add a specific on convert, now that they're a client, go back and add this specific thing to the opportunity record, or make the probability 100 so that our factored fees are all correct. Whatever that is in your flow, that is now available to you. Looking at populate, you can populate data within Cosential based on other things. So again, this is cause and effect. If I have a company record that has a firm org selection of education, should my opportunities always be education? Or vice versa, if I'm chasing an education pursuit, should that client record now have education as their market? There are a ton of custom calculations that you can do in Cosential. It's not as intuitive. When you are on things like total estimated fee, factored fee, you can click in that field and type. So if you just have the field name and asterisk field name, you've now done a custom calculation. Looking at percent complete to request that information or to set things to other things. So for one of our clients, we do project complete. When it is less than 100, the status changes to inactive. They work for the government, so it's fluid. They move in and out based on modifications. So sometimes the project is marked as complete. Sometimes it moves backwards with a modification and goes back into active. So that percent complete is what is determining the status. Missing information. If an opportunity is missing staff team of whatever role, business developer, lead, capture planner, whatever that is, send an email that says, this opportunity needs this specific role. Personnel without a start date. You can't have a resume that shows them the years of experience if they don't have a start date. Or if you put license number on your resumes through Publisher, you want everybody to have a license number if they have a certification or registration wherever you put it in their personnel record. Looking at companies without a company type or companies without an address. We talked about a little bit of that earlier. Looking for your missing data. Any report that you are leaning on to make decisions should have all of that data filled out. And before you make decisions based on that record, run a report and make sure that every record has that populated, because you don't want to be thinking that you have all of your pursuit dollars when 5 of the records have 0 or $1. I hesitated to put this one in the presentation today because I'm not that big of a fan. However, it's here and it might be applicable to you. Set action link allows you to send an email that has a link that will do something in Cosential, that will set a value in Cosential. So what you'll see on my screen down at the bottom is an email that came to me that said the following opportunity has entered the stage in our CKC account. It says new needs analysis, and it needs your attention. It lists the opportunity name, the client, and then the link to the opportunity record. Which service should we propose? These are all individual action links that were created in the workflow that have the firm org service attached to them. So it says firm org service equals CRM advisor support package. Now, when I click that, it updates the record. It has that as the firm org. Here's the catch, and here's what makes me not a fan. If you send this to more than one person, it does not lock it down and say, oh, Johnny already hit the button for you. Instead, it's whoever clicked last, even if it's yourself. So you can see here the way that it was written is it says which services in parentheses. If I want it to be audit and assessment and data cleanup, when I click audit and assessment, it selects that. When I go back and click data cleanup, it changes it. It doesn't add it. So you are replacing the value. So if I click one and the email goes to somebody else and they click it, whoever clicks last marks or updates the record. So just know that little nuance of set action. Where this best plays out is if you're sending it to one person with one value. Is this approved? Yes or no? Is this a go? Yes, no. What stage should it be in? What contract value should it be? That is where it comes into play best. All right, so now we're going to talk about data hygiene is critical. Any widget that you have on a dashboard should have a report to back it up. Widgets are automated, but they are only as good as the data that's being given to them. So you want to be able to back it up and say, okay, this is accurate on a regular basis, whether that's monthly, every other week for you, so that you have trust in your data. Looking at your data-driven decisions, I mentioned that earlier, it's only as good as the data that you're basing it off of. Your publisher documents, you never want to run a resume at the 11th hour of a proposal and discover that their education is missing. So checking for that on a regular basis so that you know, and then setting those workflows to help you as well. Your marketing campaigns are only as good as who you're sending it to. So making sure that all of your contacts are in your campaign system, whatever you're using. Now, automation best practices, I feel like the whole presentation to date is a best practice, but looking at your workflow automations is key, but really it's distrust and verify. So I'm not going to 100% trust those workflows or the widgets or whatever it is that technology is running. I want to see with my own eyes that yes, based on this report, this concrete information, that I can have confidence that everything else is functioning correctly. Now to the fun part. Looking at this, I will tell you, you have to have Office 365. You need to set up some workflows in Microsoft Flow. And I will show you how it works. I'm not going to show you the how part because it's definitely complex, but it's doable, which is so exciting. I created a call log in our CKC Cosential account. I am the personnel. I set the due date. And I use the call type of bid due. This allows you to automate your bid calendar, your proposal calendar, your reminders to make phone calls. I set it for a specific opportunity, Main Street Cafe. The client is included, and the subject line was just when the bid was due, which is also the call date. And I included myself in the notification, and the email was automatically sent through a workflow in Cosential. When it hit my inbox, the Microsoft Flow automation saw it based on its subject line, turned it into a calendar invite automatically. I did not do anything but receive an email. When it created that calendar invite and went ahead and dropped in the details of the call log, and then it put it on the calendar. So you can see that on October 2nd, my bid due date is here. And then in Cosential, I can click the call log, see the information, get to the record. This is a dashboard on our CKC Cosential account. you can display your proposals due, your bid due, your call reminders. Once you click on this, you can see the details. All of that is within automations from the from the Cosential workflow to Microsoft Outlook 365 flows back into Cosential. So really briefly, when I get into my Cosential account, when I am on the company record, let me close the chat window. If anybody tries to drop something in the chat window, I've closed it, so I might not see it right away. Cosential logged me out. One moment, please. All right, so here's my calendar. So when I click on the bid due date information, it pops up with the full invite description. Now, this is a calendar that is specific to all of our workflows. This is not my personal calendar. It is a shared calendar in our Outlook 365 that is just Cosential deadlines. You can have one for bids, one for proposals, one for call reminders. So here's the call reminder of who I need to call. From this screen, I can then go to that pursuit, look at the activities, and here are all of the deadlines that I created that were due dates, call this person, all of that is the call log was created. It had the call type as proposal due, and then it set that on the 26th on my home dashboard. Here's the 26th. There's my proposal due for Main Street. I hope you are excited as I am based on that. A huge shout out to Dustin at Cosential. He is the mastermind brains behind that. He and I are super excited about what that means for Cosential, for the platform, for you guys as users, for the clients of Cosential. It is absolutely a game changer. Very, very exciting. The more Cosential develops, the further they are in the idea of you never have to leave Outlook. You never have to leave Cosential if you're on that platform, for marketers who have it open on the second screen, so that wherever you are, they want to meet you there to get you the best use of the system. How are you feeling? That was a fast and furious, oh, I went over by 1 minute. Fast and furious 31 minutes. Hopefully you're feeling positive and not too overwhelmed. We are here for you in any capacity. So definitely reach out. When I end this webinar, you're going to be given redirected to a survey. Please fill it out so that we know what topics to do for free webinars, for paid webinars, for any other upcoming information. We want it to be created by you guys and give you what you need. Thank you so much for spending the afternoon, a little bit of your afternoon with me, and hope everyone is doing well. And if I don't talk to you again in 2020, have a great end of your year. Thank you.